The government's COVID strategy has completely failed. It's a disaster. Thousands and thousands of people are dead unnecessarily. There's a huge second wave just around the corner. Infection rates are rising, the R rate is up, and the government is panicking. What they need is a scapegoat. Rather than admitting their own failings, they're looking around for who can we blame. And there hasn't been a Black Lives Matter rally for ages, and there hasn't been a gay pride rally, and they're looking around at all the people they usually turn to. What about those teenagers in that dinghy near Dover? Can we claim they have all the COVID? And the answer is that none of it is going to land. So they're still in a panic, and they've suddenly hit upon the one group of people they think they can get away with blaming. Yeah, young people. Oh, the rise is highest among people in their 20s and 30s. Oh yeah, 20-somethings have been flouting the... And what's happened is they've pushed this narrative that the highest rates are among people in the sort of 20 to 29, 30 to 39 age bands. And the media have picked up on this, and they've run with this obvious and cliched narrative that, well, young people are spreading coronavirus. It's because they don't care, isn't it? They're out getting drunk, snogging strangers, having orgies in the park, fingering each other behind some bins, whatever it is that we're all willing to imagine young people do. And they're failing to just stop and ask why the infection rate might be highest among young people. Could it possibly be that years of austerity and rising student debt have meant that the vast majority of young people can't afford to live on their own and are forced to live in shared housing? Could it be that the vast majority of young people are trapped in the gig economy when it comes to jobs? They're working in the service industries, like in restaurants, like in retail venues, places like that. They're often working 0 hours contracts. They've got very little control over whether or not they feel comfortable going back to work. And meanwhile, the government's saying we've got to save the economy. Get out there, get in the shops, buy something, go have a meal. Here, have 10 quid each, go and have a meal. Here, have 10 quid each, go and get a meal. Oh, what, the waitress has got COVID. She is so irresponsible. How unreasonable. She's let the whole country down. She's a disaster. Boris Johnson should be apologising to these young people, first of all, for running a strategy that put them at risk. Secondly, for having created the economic circumstances that mean their lives are so precarious that they actually don't have the freedom to choose whether or not they're putting themselves out there and putting themselves at risk. And thirdly, for scapegoating them when the fact is that the problem started and ends with him and his government and their failures.